Hello and welcome to this video on how to import data from Excel to Stata. Now there are a number of ways to do this. First of all, you can do it the proper way, actually importing, or you can copy paste. I'll show you both ways. Now, if you choose to import the proper way, there are still two ways of doing this, either via a do file or via the command line, or via the menu. And I'm going to be a bit unusual today by doing it via the menu. However, that will produce code for you that you can use later to import via command line. So go to File, Import, and choose Excel Spreadsheet. In this window, you choose your file, go Browse, pick the file we want. I'm going to choose this file, my variable file. That's a bit slow, but it's loaded. And now, because I have quite a lot of data in this Excel sheet, I want to pick which worksheet. And the reason it was a bit slow in loading was because I have a lot of data in there. So I want to pick to Stata because that is the sheet that I chose for my data. Import first row is variables name. That is quite important, okay? So click that, and you see now that, well, if I deselect that, you'll see here that the first row is my variable name. But if I click that, the variable name gets replaced. And instead of having A, B, C, D, which is not very useful, I get this instead, okay? I don't want to import all data as strings. I don't know why you would want to do that. And I also want to preserve case, most likely. You see, preserve case means that if I have capital letters, I will keep my capital letters. If I have small letters, I will keep those. Okay, so I keep the case, and I click OK. And that took a little while, but now you see I got all my variables here. Here is the code I could have used instead. So as I've explained in another video, Stata is very helpful. It gives you the code. So if I copy paste this, I can use this code. If I clear the screen, just start from the beginning. Now I have no variables. And I type this code. Now you should see that it'll do the exact same thing, but via the code. So if I wanted to, now it got loaded. If I wanted to, I could go to my do file, which I might have from before, or I open a new do file, and I can save my code here. All right. Okay, now let's go ahead and close this window. I'm not going to save anything. Next, we want to inspect our variables. So let's go ahead and open the data editor. I can see my variables. They got in all right. And I have some empty variables, and those I can just drop if I want to. Or I can just ignore them. One reason you might not get the expected results is if you use commas in Excel to indicate decimal places. In US systems, period is used to indicate decimals, and commas are used as thousand separators. Now, it's the other way around in some other systems, such as the Swedish one. So what you want to do is you might want to go to Excel and change your settings in Excel. So if you go to File, Options, Advanced, and here, instead of using the system separators, you want to tell Excel to use period as a decimal separator and comma as 1,000 separators, instead of the other way around. If you've done this and a lot of your variables still come out red, not like this in black text, it means that Stata is treating these variables as string. And some of them should be string, like these ones here that have text, but others should be not string. I will show you in a separate video on how to prepare variables and how to destring them in order to use them in the analysis and make Stata recognize the numbers as numbers rather than text. Now I've shown you how to import it via import Excel data via the menu and via code. Typing import Excel and giving the directory, the file you want to import, and then comma sheet, entering the sheet you want. If you don't enter anything here, it'll automatically use the first sheet. And first row, meaning the first row should be treated as variable names. That's what the code meant. Okay, so now another way of doing this, or the final way that I'm going to show you, is by copy pasting simply. Let's clear the screen again, open the data editor, we see that now it's empty, we don't have any variables. And I'm going to get my variable file, open that in Excel, because maybe I'm working on it. So here is my variables file with the Stata sheet that I just imported the other way. Now, if I wanted to, I could select my data simply, and I'm going to Control C that to copy it, and then switch over to my Stata window in the data editor, and then I can just simply click Control V and paste it. And it'll ask again if I want my first row to be variable names. So do you want to treat the first row as variable names? Yes, I do. And then it'll import it in the same way as it did basically when we used the import function. Now, one noticeable difference is that we could not control the names of the variables, so that all the capital letters disappeared. Now, if you don't have a problem with that, then you're good to go. Otherwise, you might want to use the import function. Now, I'm going to go back to my screen here and clear and do this one more time. And now I'm just going to select here. So I'm going to select one of these, okay, and try Control V to paste. Then it tells me I cannot paste into selection. So I have to mark the upper left corner in order to paste. Then it'll work, okay? Control V, and then it'll do it. Now I'm going to cancel that. And I want to show you also that if I go back here and I just want to select one variable, select one variable, Control C to copy that and paste it here, that works as well. Now, because I pasted it in the third column, it created two columns that are empty, two variables that are empty, because it doesn't like to have empty columns. If I paste it again, I can do that, but then there is going to be a problem naming it because I have two variables with the same name. So that gave me an error here, but if I go back to the data editor, it actually pasted it again, simply giving it a default name, variable number 4, because this is column 4. Now all that's left to do is to simply save the file. Now I can save the data here, or I can save the data from here, from the main window. Just make sure that you're saving the data, if that is what you want to save, and not the do file, because if we open the do file editor, there's also a save function here. That saves a do file. So if you have this open, that does not save the data. That saves the do file. So go here or via the editor here, okay?